All right, guest is here, Eric Holt, former rural Colorado fire chief. Rural, as in in the rural areas. Army combat veteran. He reported election fraud and then lost everything. His website, justiceforholt.com, justiceforholt.com. So first, let me start the interview by saying thank you for your service as a Army combat veteran. Thank you. Thank you for your service. And thank you for your service as a fire chief, for risking your life to keep people safe. You are a hero times two, and yet you lost everything because you reported election fraud. Tell us your story. Where was the election fraud? How did you find it? And what exactly happened?
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on, Wayne. I really appreciate it. I was a rural fire chief, as you said. My fire station was used as the local election precinct, which
in Colorado? In Colorado?
Yeah, Teller County, Colorado. Yeah, very conservative area, but being infiltrated quite heavily. So,
right.
It's a great point. I've been listening to you, and you're talking about election integrity. Most precincts in America, I think there's about 7,000 of them across the nation, average under 500 voters. There's some that get into the few thousands, but they're small. They're held in local libraries, fire stations, schools. And so my fire station was used. It was a local election. I heard some citizen complaints. I wasn't a part of the election. I had nothing to do with it. But obviously I was in charge of the fire station there. So once I got some complaints, I sat with it for a few days, heard some more stuff, was talking to the attorney that represented the fire district. And we had some huge concerns. And so one night I decided that I was going to go get the security footage, which is owned and operated by a third-party company. It was by contract that they came in and they installed.
By the way, Eric, this sounds like a Tina Peters story. It sounds kind of similar to Tina Peters, right? You know her story?
Yeah, I know Tina well. I mean, and I got to see her out there when I met you at the Fraud Summit. So I've been in close contact with her story and supporting her throughout this. But
you're both in Colorado, so it shows you how bad Colorado is. Bad. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead. So what happened next?
So I sit down, I start watching. It was like 40 hours of footage because it was a 12-hour day of elections, and there was like 4 cameras, but one camera wasn't activated the whole time. Talk about some very interesting footage. That's sarcasm because it's people walking in and out of a building. But I was looking for what this could be. Was there a scheme? Is the things that I had heard on footage where I can see it. And so the first thing I do is I plug in, it was all downloaded onto a thumb drive that I had bought and got from this third-party company. And the first thing that I catch was one of the complaints was a voter went in and they were being recorded from the poll watchers. And so I'm watching this footage, and lo and behold, I catch an image of or the recording where poll watcher has her laptop open, and on the screen you can see she's recording people entering to vote, which is illegal. And so went about the day. There was the first complaint I got that really put a fire in my belly was poll watcher was overheard walking out of the station on her cell phone, which you're not allowed to have cell phones as a poll watcher, saying, "Did you already pay them? Is this the vehicle pulling in right now?" And then motions people from their vehicle, and this bystander had heard, hey, go vote for these people.
Wow.
And so inside the station, there's no audio, but I'm watching just, again, people coming in and out. And I keep seeing the poll watchers showing things to each other and doing actions with their hands. And then I start to pick it up. Like, people are engaging with the poll watchers. So there's a video I gave you guys that it's a guy like very blatantly tipping a cowboy hat and sort of waving. And then you can see in that video, the poll watcher does something with her hand. And I was like, okay, what's going on here, right? So I finally catch another clip where one poll watcher shows the other poll watcher this round object. And so I did like a Google image search, and lo and behold, track counters, right? So the basis of what I had been told and can corroborate on this footage is like they're paying people to show up. They're going out and meeting them when they're supposed to be inside the precinct, telling them who to vote for. And when they get the signal, they were using these track counters to keep track. But it went beyond that because I thought, okay, well, is that enough to guarantee an outcome, right? Is that enough to cheat the results of an election? That fourth camera that I said wasn't activated the whole day, it wasn't because it was an engine bay. It's where we normally parked our fire engine, right? But because they were going to use that building as the ballot counting room, we had moved it out, and they were actually supposed to set up inside of the firefighter quarters where there wouldn't have been a camera, but they ended up setting up in that engine bay. And so what I could find on there was literally the most egregious stuff. Election judges were telling them they wouldn't enforce rules, that the election was fixed. I could see them using these tabulators every time they would call ballot results out, ballot by ballot, right? They're calling it out and they're clicking and keeping track.
These are judges. These are judges.
Paid election judges in the state of Colorado. Yep.
And you caught them on camera talking about the fix.
Yep, 100%.
Oh my God.
You're dead on accurate. And so,
oh my God.
Well, what I ended up putting together was not only were they keeping track during the day, they were confirming the total so they knew how many to incentivize to show up.
There's the scam. There it is.
The scam, man. And I go back to it. Precincts across America average, less than 1,000 people per precinct. If you can cheat in one like mine was, you can do it in every single one. And the biggest thing of all is, what did I do with it? I took it to the DA's office and I said, here, I've uncovered this. Here's all of it. I gave him a spreadsheet, every violation, who committed it, the timestamp, everything. Gift wrapped an investigation for him.
Let me guess, the DA's in on it and he arrested you. Let me guess. I'm just guessing.
I never got arrested, but what happened is these people get put under criminal investigation who become my bosses. They hire a defense attorney when the criminal investigation is launched. They just so happen, accidentally, right? They hired the dad of the deputy district attorney, and it goes away 3 days later. No charges filed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what did they do to you? It says you lost everything. What happened to you?
Yeah, they fired me 33 days after I met with the district attorney's office. And
Based on what? Based on what charge?
Well, you can't say that you're firing somebody because they're the star witness against you. So right. they hatched the plan, right? They went and froze bank accounts and then fired me because a bill didn't get paid. That's so the official narrative.
These are your fire bosses, because you're a fireman, right? So you were fired by the fire department?
I was the fire chief, right? So the board of directors were part of the election, and so they didn't even do the lame duck thing. The election results came out. They said we're in charge, and they refused the transition process. And so it's all been debated on who even had authority and all this. But I was out of a job. I'm a single dad raising 2 girls at the time. Wow. And I lose everything, man. And it was horrible. I mean, and the public persecution, my fire service career after 23 years was over. And I've never found another job.
When was this?
2023.
So what have you done since then? If you can't be a fireman anymore, what have you done for the last 3 years, going on plus 4 years?
It took me almost a year and a half to find a job in any field. So now I actually landed a job. I'm a general manager for a hydroelectric and water conveyance company, so powered energy, or energy sector and water sector. And I fought a federal battle for the last 3 years. I lost on summary judgment. The judge dismissed my case, saying it was an official duty, therefore I have no First Amendment. I appealed that and went to the 10th Circuit. I was out there in Denver in March, did oral arguments that went phenomenal for us. Recent court precedents in the 10th Circuit lined up to support us. And then on July 7th, I got the ruling from the 10th Circuit Court. And it literally just says I have no First Amendment protections.
These judges, I swear, I'm telling you, Eric, that's the insurrection going on in America. The judges are in on the steal. It's a conspiracy, and they're fixing the elections, and they're protecting the fixers. And they know they've got the judges on their sides. They can never get in trouble. And when you and I report it, we could be persecuted for reporting it by those same judges and that same corrupt justice system.
Yeah, I mean, again, I served my country in Iraq in 2005. I served my community for 23 years. I have one failure to yield ticket where I rolled through a stop sign in my entire life, and I
Eric,
have
we'll
no First
forgive you for
Amendment.
that. It's okay. You're forgiven. I always consider myself a law and order guy. And, in my lifetime, I've gotten like 3 tickets. Okay. In 45 years of driving, I've gotten 3 tickets. I don't think that's a crime. I think that's okay.
Right.
You pay the $50 ticket or whatever it is. And everything's fine. So we're not holding that to you as a crime. You seem like a nice guy and a very intelligent guy and a guy who should have a good, high-paying job because you're a nice guy and an intelligent guy. I would hire you in a second if I had a job. So it's so crazy that you lost your job and then it took a while to find another one and you have 2 kids and your whole life was ruined. I mean, it's so stunning to me how many of us there are out there that are middle class, nice people, salt of the earth Americans, and the Democrats hate us. And the liberals, the Democrats, the communists, the insurrectionists, whatever words you want to use, they hate our guts for being white, straight males, hate us for that crime of being white and straight, and then conservative on top of that, forget it. Now you're really hated. It's just unbelievable. It's stunning what's going on in this country. And they want to come after all of us. And you were unlucky enough to try and do the right thing, and you got effed for doing the right thing. It's just terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, I did. I did what I felt I was raising my daughters to do. Right? You see something, you say something, you speak up, and you stop corruption in this
Isn't that what the
country.
government says? See something, say something, right? Government
Yeah,
says that.
that's what we're taught from
They don't
childhood.
mean it.
I
They
did
don't
that.
mean it.
No, and they destroyed my life, man. And so,
You know what they got to change that to? See something that hurts Democrats? Shut the F up or we're taking everything away from you. That's what they should change it to. Because that's really what they mean. So
they'll
you
come
were
after
told
you.
by a judge you have no First Amendment rights, meaning no free speech, because you were volunteering to oversee an election? That means you have no rights to speak anymore? I just don't get
no,
it.
I did. So they minimized my involvement with the criminal investigation down to what they called an administrative task. That's literally the wording of it. So, because I was performing an administrative task of what I was paid to do as a fire chief, right? That I had no First Amendment. And you got to do some backflips there on logic, and you got to
It makes
really
no
bend
sense.
backwards. Yeah, it makes no sense at all.
And not only that, think about this for a minute. Fire chief is not like some minor job. I mean, you have specialized skills that can save someone's life, and it takes a while to work up a whole career to be a fire chief. Firemen have specialized skills, but a fire chief, it takes years to develop that talent and all the knowledge, and to just take your career away in a second because you people complain to you an election you were overseeing and you grabbed the video. What's the crime? This is insane.
Yeah, I mean it costs nothing to somebody else to destroy somebody's life. It
Right.
costs the person with integrity everything, and that's ultimately why I put cost of integrity in my book's title. But it literally and this is what I still have to teach my kids, right? No matter what, you have to be that American that will lose everything, sacrifice everything for integrity. Otherwise, we have no country left.
Yeah, but
Plain
you know
and
what's
simple.
scary? Eric, here's what's scary. As I show stories like yours on my shows, I'm afraid it sends the opposite message. I'm afraid people see it and go, I'm going to shut up because I don't want to end up like Eric. I have a wife and, like I have a neighbor, right? And he's a big shot doctor. He's a urologist and a very successful one. And one day he saw me and he said, Wayne, I love your show. I listen to every minute of your radio show on the way home from work every day. He's my neighbor. And I said, great. I'm honored to hear that. I'm glad you like me. And we got on the topic of the COVID vaccine. And I said to him, you didn't take it, did you? And he said, yeah, I took it. I said, but you just said you listen to every minute of my show. And I told everyone, stay away from that COVID vaccine. It is poison. It's killing people. And he said, no, I had to take it because we sold our practice to a big company that owns like 1,200 doctors nationwide. And they demanded we get the vaccine or I'd lose my job. And I got 2 kids, one in private school, the other going to college now. I can't afford to lose. See, doctors can't afford to lose their job, Eric. They got kids in school and kids in college. Nobody can afford with 2 kids to lose a job. So people are so scared of losing their job if they don't do what authority says, what experts say. It's really a bad thing going on in America today. And it's bad that so many doctors used to be their own boss. Now they all sold out to big corporations who own 1,200 doctors nationwide. And they make a decision in some corporate headquarters. Everyone's got to take that poisonous vaccine, and you're fired if you don't take it. And he said people in his office would tattle on if you didn't take it. You know, there were secretaries who took it and nurses who took it. If you don't take it, they tell the people back home in the headquarters you didn't take it. We're like a nation of people that tell on everybody. It's pretty screwed up. I got to tell you what's going on in this country.
Yeah, and I have been in fear of I send that message, right? But we are in the new age of the founding fathers, right? We had these guys back in the 1780s putting pen to paper, writing our beautiful Constitution, and they put everything on the line. Who am I not to lose a job over it, man? I got kids to raise in this country.
And by the way, you probably were forced to take the COVID vaccine, I'm betting. You're a fireman. I'm sure in 2021, 2022, they made you take it, right?
I got the Biden letter. I was a federal firefighter, and so I got that letter that said if I didn't take it, I was going to be fired. But that led me to finding the fire chief's job, so I didn't.
Okay.
But,
got it. But they were going to make you take it.
I was going to lose everything then. Yeah.
And did you see in the news, Eric? I didn't even report this to my fans yet because every day I got a stack of stories. 50 stories. I get to like 4 of them. So I didn't even report this yet. That Cam Newton, the famous quarterback from Carolina, he says all the players in the NFL, 99% of them had fake vaccine cards. They never took the vaccine. I knew it because all over Europe, they listen to authority. In America, we're like, screw you. We don't care what the government says. So in Europe, they all took the COVID vaccine, and remember they were all dropping dead on the soccer field? There were 1,000 athletes that dropped dead. In America, nobody ever dropped dead on a football field. That one guy had a massive heart attack. He probably took the vaccine, but nobody else. It's because they all didn't take the vaccine and had fake cards. And I knew it. I said it on my show at the time. I said, I'll bet they're all faking it. They all got fake cards they paid for. So we live in a crazy world right now. You have a book out called Free Speech, Retaliation, and the Cost of Integrity. And where can my fans get that book?
It's available on Amazon or on Justice for Holt if you want a signed copy. It's on there. That was my protest. I literally hit publish the day after the 10th Circuit Court. The court just below our Supreme Court told me I had no First Amendment. I said, shove it. I pressed publish, and that is my civic protest to their BS that I don't have a First Amendment.
My director, Patar, says show the book. Do you have the book there? You have a copy?
I don't have one sitting right here, unfortunately, but
Eric, you're too nice a guy. I got to teach you how to sell, baby. I got to teach you some sales lessons. Look, right in front of me. I've written 20 books. I got 2 of them sitting in front of me at all times. These are my 2 most recent books. You got to have the book with you when you go in an interview. You got to. Anyway, I'll sell for you. The book's called Free Speech, Retaliation, and the Cost of Integrity, and you can find it at justiceforholt.com. Justiceforholt.com. This is a good guy. I could tell about people in 2 seconds. Good guy, salt of the earth, what America's all about, and where the people are hunting. You and I, buddy. So I wish you well. You're a good man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. And if I could plug, I still have a legal battle going. I got a legal fund. Give, Send, Go, or GoFundMe under Justice for Holt. The mustache is the logo.
So I can fund you by going to Justice for Holt, and they'll send me the Give, Send, Go once I get to Justice for Holt. JusticeForHolt.com. Eric Holt, former Colorado Fire Chief, Army combat veteran, reported election fraud, and they tried to destroy his life, and he lost everything. He's on the comeback trail. JusticeForHolt.com. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate you, brother.
So many good people out there that get railroaded. It's unbelievable. By the liberals in government and the liberal judges and the liberals stealing elections. And liberal is such a false name because they're all communist, scumbag, evil, insurrectionists, traitors, carrying out a communist color revolution. We'll come back and finish up quickly. The last segment of the show will be a short segment, but I got a couple more news stories here you've got to hear, especially about this Senate candidate in Michigan, Abdul El Sayed. These people want to destroy our country and steal our country and conquer our country. And I'm going to keep saying it. Screw you. Let's see you stop me. Be right back.